My name's Tiara Darnell. I am a freelance multimedia journalist in Portland, Oregon. It was a panel of all women of color, the first one that I know of that's been done in Portland, and we were talking about representation in cannabis media. So a lot of like what, as women of color, what our experiences are like, how they're portrayed in print, video, television, any of that sort of stuff, and then also just what we would like to see more of and what is going well and what's, could be better represented in cannabis media. I think that the experience of being on stage at Revolution Hall is something that I'm not going to forget anytime soon. It didn't matter if there was one person or the whole place was packed. It just was really powerful to be able to get up on stage and share that space with those women, and for them to give of themselves and their answers to get really personal and really deep. Like I said, this is a panel that has not happened before that I haven't seen, and so I just feel really motivated to create more opportunities for this to happen, because if I don't do it, then it's apparent to me that it's just not going to happen or get done. Well, it's interesting that I wanted to do something to kind of make a change in the cannabis media landscape in terms of representation, but I decided to do a podcast, which is not so visual, but it's something for people to listen to and follow along with. But I felt like that was a good way for me to test the waters of trying to do something on my own using the skill set that I have, which is, visual and audio storytelling. And I wanted to do something that seemed like it would fill a void in the landscape again. And so I looked at the different cannabis podcasts that were out there, and a lot of them really focus on business, or they focus on science, or maybe just like a few bros in their garage just like playing around or whatever. And I just really wanted to do something that was narrative storytelling, but that also uplifted the stories of people of color, because there are a lot of us, we're still a minority, especially here in Portland, but even within the industry, there are a lot of people who are doing good work out here, but they don't always get the credit or the shine that they deserve. So this was a way for me to go out there, find these stories, tell them, and just represent what I know the cannabis industry looks like or could look like if there were more people getting the credit that they deserved and being noticed for the amazing work that they're doing to drive this industry forward. I think that there's a lot of people who have had long relationships with cannabis, but maybe they just don't necessarily trust like some of the newness and like what's going on in the industry, because there's a lot of people who weren't incarcerated or weren't affected by policy in the same way that communities of color were historically for really, like the last 100 years, you can even go back. So I think that it's just about making sure that people have the information about the new industry and what the opportunities are, but then also it means that people who, if you own a dispensary, you're probably going to be hiring bud tenders pretty often. Are you going out and looking to hire someone who maybe hasn't thought about a career in the cannabis industry, or just, like a temporary job or something like that? Like, there are people out there who just need jobs. So why not bring them in, train them, and then have this new person who is making the industry more representative, more inclusive, but then also taking that knowledge to other communities who, again, have this distrust of the newness of the cannabis industry, and maybe of police and other city or government officials basically who created policies that were basically targeted to put minorities in jail. So I think that it's kind of a long, convoluted answer, but just find the people. We're out here, we're here. So snatch us up.